Okay, we're live. Hello, I'm Francesca, and we are here for brush hour. And we're just getting set up. So, brush hour is your weekly art hang, and I'm excited to have it on YouTube now. We usually have it on Instagram, which I'm just getting set up as well, but thought I would start doing it on YouTube as well. So, let's see. Okay. Hello, and welcome to Brush Hour, your weekly art hang. I am just getting set up. Hope everyone's having a good week and day. Also on YouTube, so I'm getting that set up as well. Again, hope everyone's having a good week. And yeah, just getting all set up. I'm going to be doing a little bit of catching up and painting. Just looking for this other tripod. Right. Okay, so how's everyone's week? Hello, Mindy. Hi, Blake. Hi, Matt. Nice to see you all. Hello, hello. I am also going live on Instagram or on YouTube as well. And it's supposed to be all joined at once, but of course it's not. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of both. So if you have YouTube, you can go on there. I feel like with YouTube, it's a little bit easier because you can kind of like be doing multiple things at once. You don't just have to be glued to one thing. So whatever works for you. If you like Instagram, do that. If YouTube is better, do that as well. Yeah, how was everyone's week? Mine was pretty good. I feel like every week, when it's Thursday, I can't even believe it. And I think I say that every week, but these weeks go by so quick. I had started my Sargent workshop or online virtual. We started that on Tuesday. It's super fun. Really excited about it. And here on Brush Hour or on YouTube, turn that off. So yeah, we had a good class and did some painting. So I did this one right here. Just as like our study, we went over a bunch about Sargent and we went over a few of his paintings, and each week we're going to be doing a new painting or, discussing some different paintings. But yeah, so this is the one that I started a demo off with, and we're going to be doing different ones throughout the course. It's a 5-week course. If you're still interested in it, I do have some people that are doing the view only. So if you can't make it on those times, that's okay. They're recorded and you can use them if you can't make it those days. And also, even if you do make it, you'll have access to them. So you can rewatch some of them. I love doing that with other workshops that I participate in. Because yeah, it's crazy what, as you go, you just learn so much more. So there's so much more to be able to, bring to the table when the more you learn. So this one is, this is the study for it. And since I was doing this more monochromatic approach, which he did sometimes, not always, but they do have like some x-rays of some of his paintings showing that he did do more of like an underpainting approach sometimes. So things that he was doing that were more, he needed more precision and all of that instead of something that was just direct, which is just, starting with your color and going wet on wet. So I'm going to work on this one a little bit more. And this is recording. Actually, I'm going to, so yeah, it's recording. So I'll be able to share it with the students, and then we're going to be doing others as well. So yeah, thought it'd be fun to do that. But yeah, so the rest of the week, I was working on a bunch of that, did a bunch of drawing. Actually, I feel like some weeks I get this urge, or not this urge, but this just like motivation to just draw a bunch. So I did so much drawing this past week, and I am super excited for some new stuff and share some of the. Also, I did a bunch of drawing with pen, which is interesting because you make different decisions with pen than you do pencil. And I think that's like really fun. So yeah, I'll go ahead. Here are some of the ones I did this week. This one I love so much, and it is a little bit different, but I have like these other pieces that I've been doing that are these like, ladies that are all different types. So some of them are smaller, some of them have like these extended, exaggerated arms and legs. And, but I'm like really having fun with it. I'm seeing something there. And so like this one, I really had a ton of fun with. I just pulled up a random photo reference for a, I can't even remember. It was just this girl. And instead of trying to go exactly with her likeness and making it perfect and all of that, I didn't. I just was using it more of the structure and more of kind of like a guide. And then I just added, like, I wanted to get this sort of triangle in my composition. And so I have all these little triangles in there and just different like big shapes, but then within them. And so, yeah, I kind of just like went off the cuff with it and just did that and had her arms longer and these little guys down here. And then I added in all of those too. So yeah, that was super fun. So I'm going to make this into like a larger one. Same with the other ladies that I've been doing, which I have some of them in here. Did a couple of Delilah. This one is funny because she has this little cute scowl on her face. She's like, why are you taking photos? And this one, she's all smiley. So, yeah, that was fun. I really get a kick out of drawing her. And it's so much. You just learn so much that way, too. Again, especially if it's like someone you know, the more that you draw them, the better you get. Because, I mean, obviously, but you know who they are. So, you know their essence, their personality. Just a bunch of like other sketches. This one too, I just really did all of this just, like not intuitively, but just kind of out of my head little bit by little bit. And yeah, it was a really fun way to sketch and study this week, because usually I'm trying to go get a perfect likeness, and I love that. But yeah, we do have the freedom to do whatever we want. And that is something also that I think that I have learned studying and, being a little, really having a love for Sargent's work. And because a big thing that he did is, he knew anatomy, and there's lots of portraits that show that. But he also, wasn't afraid of changing up the anatomy and making it fit more with the piece versus is that exactly, that. So like the perfection. And I do appreciate that. I think that's important too. Hi, Michael. Nice to see you. Michael's part of the group, the Sargent group. So Michael, you just popped on. We are, working on, I'm going to work a little bit on the Sargent demo that I was doing the other day. And yeah, yours are turning out great as well. I'm loving what you've been doing. So yeah, and there's a few other drawings that I'll pop out as we go along, but yeah, lots of fun. Anyone else do anything interesting this week? I also went over to Jasmine Joe which is in Tempe if you're local, and it's this beautiful coffee and flower shop, and it's just like so magical. I feel like every time I go in there, I feel like I'm like walking into like a novel. It's just like so magical. But they opened up they changed locations, but it's just 2 doors down from where they were. It's on Mill and Baseline, and it's a bigger spot, and it's just so beautiful. They did such a good job. The decor is amazing, and I could just like live in there. And Lila had so much fun. She loves going in there because we've been there a couple times since they've reopened, and it's so fun. They have like a little photo booth, which how can you pass one up? So this is me and Delilah today. But yeah, lots of fun. If you are local, definitely check it out. It is really cool. Beautiful, beautiful flowers, absolutely amazing. And then their coffee's great. They have delicious food. I had their chicken salad, like toasted sandwich thing, and it was absolutely amazing. So yeah, and it's nice to get out because it's like working in the studio and chasing around a little toddler is crazy. A couple other little doodles I did. This was just with pen, so I didn't want to, it's like, again, it's a different approach. So if you like to sketch, try using a pen. It might feel, it's like a little bit of feels scary at first, but you can have fun with it. Here's a couple other just weirdo sort of sketches. But I feel like it makes you a little bit, more brave about what you're adding, and in a good way. And then guess what? If you don't like a part, you move on from it. But so yes, it is. Mindy says the exaggeration is lovely and creative. Thank you, Mindy. Yeah. I have a couple others too that are super fun. Let's see if I have them close by. Here they are. And I actually have been using for paper. A lot of people always ask in classes what I recommend, and there are so many papers that are just good quality, expensive, but honestly, I really love using printer paper, and it's you can get a ream of it for so inexpensive. And then I like to do the as thick as you can. So I think it's like 30 pound is it's like the one that I use. But yeah, it's just like a great way to just have something that isn't expensive, because a lot of times my expensive papers I'm always kind of nervous to use until I feel like it's the perfect moment, and then I'm working on a sketch or something that ends up being like this piece that I love and that I continue it. And so yeah, some printer paper that's thick is still going to be nice quality, but you won't feel as precious about it. So go ahead and do that if you haven't. Here's a couple other of my little ladies that I've been drawing. And so I'm going to, want to keep doing these sketches to be doing different paintings. And it's just been kind of hard the past year doing, full pieces, commissions. It's been I've with the baby and all of that, but I've been just sketching my butt off. It's a lot easier to do than to whip out all the paint and everything. So I'm trying to see, it is cool having a sketchbook, because then you just can go through and realize, oh, I forgot I drew that, or, things you can implement into your work later. But if you just, they're not all together, sometimes they get lost in the mix. So I do a little bit of both. Some stuff are, like I said, printer paper, but then I've been putting them in something like this display book, and that way they can be protected, and you can kind of flip through them, which is nice. So if it's like one that you ended up liking, so yeah, I highly recommend that. I've even been doing that for some paintings for when I go anywhere. I'll have them. Oh yeah, here's one of the ones that I'll be doing a bigger painting for that I'm really stoked about. And a lot of these are just things I compiled together and like my references. So yeah, and then I just keep all the painting ones in there, and so yeah, just a little bit of show and tell, I guess. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and start doing some painting. And if you're on YouTube, you should be able to see it. Let's see, got some people saying hi. Nice. Cheryl says, a nice change to YouTube. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, I'm curious, like, do you guys use YouTube more? You use Instagram more? I feel like I get so used to Instagram, but YouTube is a fun place too. So yeah, okay. So I'm going to keep my reference right up here. Keep an eye on it. Put it on here. And what I'm going to do is just use some medium to oil it out. Make it a little fresh again. So you can kind of see how this freshens it up. So this is a Gamblin 3-in-1. And this is actually good to use like before you varnish as well. So this kind of also helps bring out all of the darks, the shadows and such. So it's always nice to do before you do another session, because this will help you paint a little bit more wet on wet. And then it also, see how it brings out the darks. And it's also, I usually use like a Galkid Light and Gamsol 50-50 mix, which is, I guess, similar to this, but this just comes in a thing. And I actually saw this on a Sean Cheatham workshop. He was using it. And so I ordered it, and I absolutely love it. It keeps it really like consistent. And apparently this is good to use before you varnish. It like helps seals it better for the varnish before you want to make it permanent. And then also what I noticed too is it holds it. So usually when I've oiled out before, it doesn't really hold the paint or hold the coating. And so I did this the other night, and it still is retaining that for the most part. So that's awesome. Because a lot of times what it does is, you can't see the darks as much, and then it loses that luster, and then it feels like you have this incomplete painting. But, in reality, it needs some freshness. And so it also helps from it sinking in if you've ever had that issue. But, so yeah, I really highly recommend it. It feels a little on the tacky side, but I imagine that can get better as it cures or dries. Okay, so if I'm doing this, I'll set up the YouTube one a little bit better. And if you're on YouTube, you can see me bobbling around back here. Oh, and so if you were listening last week, I was telling you guys about me stalking this woman in Home Depot, and it was a nice stalking. She smelled amazing out in the parking lot, and then we were in there, and I was hoping I'd run into her, but we were like up by the grills forever, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to see this woman again. And then we just so happened, like as serendipitous as it could be, I found her in the same aisle that we were like going to, and I, with no mercy, asked her what she was wearing, and it came finally, and it smells so good. I think it smelled a little nicer on her. But isn't that interesting how our like chemistry, body chemistry works like that? Like it'll smell different on different people. So I'm just kind of scumbling on some more of this value to darken the value. So it's kind of like glazing it, but I'm going to try to like keep a nice good underpainting with this. This isn't a required approach, but this is good to try out if you haven't, because it will, it's a great way for you to measure your values or get, you know, really familiar with them and make sure it's correct before you kind of move forward. There's other, you know, you can do it in a grisaille where it's black and white, but I like the warm tones to be underneath. We also did Christmas the other day because we were sick for Christmas, so we couldn't see any family. It was so sad. And then, but yeah, so we did it over at Ryan's house, saw them, it was super fun. We're seeing my family tomorrow for that. So I know, like, it's crazy how many people got sick over the holidays with whatever that like virus was. It was not fun. But all good now. Okay, I'm gonna get something for this 3-in-1. Keep it in its own container. So I'll just put it in these. That way I can just dip it in as I go and then also save it. I'm just kind of comparing up to her, my reference that's up there. And yeah, it was kind of nice taking a step back from this painting and letting it kind of breathe, because you tend to see different things that your brain was incorrectly seeing. It's nice to get fresh eyes. And so my goal is to try to, get my values as close as I can. And then once, I am like painting over, it'll change. But you could do a really good, where you just basically glaze over this. He didn't really do much of that, so I don't want to veer away too much. But that is also the fun thing about studying another artist like this, because you'll get other ideas. You'll be like, ooh, well, I'm in this part of the stage, I can do this, and it just makes you think differently. Just like how musicians listen to music and they get inspired by something else. Like we can find inspiration everywhere, and it definitely is with old paintings, and actually not even just older ones. There's so many good artists that are alive that are just painting insanely well. So yeah, it's good to be learning from one another. And yeah, inspiration is everywhere. It's not just one single thing. It's, like making sure that, you can just be in your studio trying to like create and, or just sitting there trying to learn, but actually getting out and being able to, see things that can inspire you. It's really important. Ways that I like to find inspiration, do love going to museums. The Phoenix Art Museum is, incredible. The Scottsdale Art Walk, which is on Thursdays, is really fun. I think one of these times I'm going to do just like a live going around to some of the galleries there. One of my favorites is Main View Gallery, which is on Scottsdale in Maine, right across from Maylee's, the Thai restaurant. It's so beautiful in there. Like the paintings are just like so exquisite. He has a few of one of my favorite artists, Pinot, Pinot. And Pinot is actually the guy that made, that was the guy that did Fabio. And so he did like, I can't remember now, but it's quite a few movie posters and book covers and such over his career. But he also was a fine artist painter and did such amazing things. And I remember the first time that I came across this gallery, Ryan and I went down over there. It was like Valentine's Day. And so we had like lunch or something, and we're going to go to the galleries. And we came across this gallery and went in, and I mean, I felt like it was like, talk about serendipity. I felt like I was meant to be in this gallery. And the first thing that I saw was a Pinot, and I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. And that gallery owner actually knew him. He has since passed, Pinot, but he knew him and was like friends with him. And so it was just like insane. And the owner, his name is David, one of the most fantastic people ever. So if you're ever down there, definitely check out his gallery because it's amazing. Lots of sculptures as well, aside from just paintings. So, I mean, I would love one of the bronze sculptures he has. So I'm just also squinting so I can see my shapes a little bit better. Sorry, just trying to get this in a good spot. I'll probably bring up my lights too. I'm putting it off for some reason, but because I want to also get her perfectly satisfied with her likeness, but I am trying to just be slow about it. But yeah, this is also a great way to bring up your darks in a transparent way, so it's not just like the paint's really thick. If we try to lay paint on really thick, especially in the shadows, it won't be as transparent. And the reason for that is because of just how light works. So if we have like all of this opaqueness over here, the light can't go through to that background, so it can't see all of what's going on in here. It just kind of will be flat. So the light will go through and it will bounce back if it's just too thick of paint. So when we can kind of more so glaze our colors and such, it can have a really fun effect. That like really is what oil painting is. What's so beautiful and striking about it. If you look at art history, it's why, you know, some paintings just look like they're so alive and like glowing. It's usually the glazing and such that's been done. So like alla prima is really big now and has been for a while, but there's something about the glazing that you can't really replicate with alla prima, which is stuff that I'm trying to do more so because I'm a big fan of alla prima, which alla prima means one sitting. So um, you're doing it in one session. So it's just direct, wet on wet, and getting all of the effects in one session. And so that is great. But sometimes for like maybe a more finished piece, you can do more glazing. So it'll actually look like it's kind of more so glowing. And have like a gem-like quality. I've heard a few artists refer to that, and that's just a great way of explaining that. Okay, and so like even on her face, I want to bring this value down a little bit. So I'm just veiling or scumbling this over. So that kind of will give a more of the look like there's a single source light up here. And this needs to be taken down a bit. Keep the direction of the brush strokes. As I'm still squinting, I'm going to bring this value. Just realized I'm like whispering, not on purpose. Will the brush marks be better with the whisper? No. Okay. Or something. Oh, I think I need to move her neck like this. This has a different angle. And so that's why it's good to just keep going. Even if at first something looks weird or strange with your painting, like it's okay. It's you just need to like move your puzzle pieces around, or you need to change the shapes of your puzzle pieces. Because that neck was like really looking weird, and then I realized that my angle was like more perpendicular and it needed a little bit of a different one. That made a huge difference. So and hopefully everything looks good on YouTube. Pretty much the same angle, but let me know if it's not. I'm using Q-tips a bunch lately just to get like good shapes out. It's just like kind of using a kneaded eraser or one of the, actually probably more of like the one of the mono erasers. And okay, I feel like a broken record, but another reason why it is good to be drawing and sketching and using the dry media is you can I just totally lost my train of thought as I was looking at this right here. That a lot of the tools work the same as when we're painting. So, you know, like a kneaded eraser would be maybe a paper towel that we're erasing or that we're wiping out. Or a Q-tip could be like more of like one of the mono erasers. So a lot of things go hand in hand. So if you're practicing a bunch with your dry media, things will come to mind better when you're painting. I promise. Let's see. Maybe bright and also adding a little bit of the white to it. Smell that out. Okay. Actually, what I could do before I add any white, because this is such a, this would be more of a low-key painting because it is so dark, but we have all of this white right here. So I'm going to darken her eyes first. Smaller brush. So, you guys can see that well. I'm going to these because her eyes are so striking in this, as are most great paintings. I could tell like this right here, this shape, because eyes have many shapes like a gem would. It's not just this circle, even though it's a circle sphere inside the head. The lid is, we have lids over them. So we just want to treat it like it's this abstract shape. This shadow kind of goes into that too. So I'm just scumbling over. Yeah, so yes, coming along. Yeah, so this is definitely like a different sort of approach to take, whereas you can always just go straight to color, but a great way to exercise your brain for the your values. So this I know I'm gonna have to lighten up a bit, because when this is next to that white, it's gonna be a lot darker. Anytime we add something, especially major, but anytime we add something next to something, it will change that value. Always keeping that in mind, whether that is, you know, planning ahead. Painting can like be like a game of chess, but with yourself, because you're like making these moves that will later, you know, determine how something else is going to look. And so if we can think ahead, you'll work a little bit quicker and smarter. But it's okay, you know, as long as you get to the finish line. But as the more you do it, the more you'll know those things too. So just like start to scumble a little bit of the white into it. I'll start with her shirt, because that shirt is the white part. So I'm going to brighten it up gradually. So yeah, and as you can see, I'm not trying to paint it like I'm painting a wall or something. I want to kind of go with the form, also be a little bit like, organic with the brush marks, so nothing looks too perfect, but there's many ways. I mean, you could tile it however you want, but that's just how I kind of approach drawing a lot, so it tends to go into my paintings. Mm-hmm. Here. Last week I was mentioning this, but I was talking about how I've been playing around with crayon more because Delilah's been getting into wanting to draw and paint and stuff, or I should say just drawing. But I can't have her use anything sharp or so whatever I'm using, she wants to use. So I'm like, well, we're going to do some crayon together, and it is so fun. So if you are especially trying to play with color, I have so many colored pencils and all this fancy stuff. And again, it's like how if we're treating our stuff, we want to treat it so precious. And so sometimes we don't end up using it because of that. And so yeah, it's like using the cheap stuff sometimes, which I was surprised with how inexpensive crayons have gotten, or maybe they always have been, but so yeah, they're just not gonna break the bank in that funner way to play with color. And I'm kind of measuring where this lines up with the head, the face, everything, and I can even this little mark, because look, if you notice, like on her, the earrings, just like glasses, we wouldn't have them be this giant like circle. That everything needs to be abstract, especially around the face. So which he was just a total master at. So for glasses, for earrings, you can be very quick about it. You don't want to like pick the flower too much. You just want to like leave it. So I'm just checking. I'd like to get this eye right there. Thanks. I love how it is in the painting. She almost in the painting, I feel like she looks like kind of like tired. Tired of everyone's shit. That's what it is. What would she be tired of today, you think? I can think of a few things. So hopefully this is everyone's kind of escape a little bit too, because the world is so crazy. Like I was saying earlier, it feels kind of weird, you know, hopping on and being like, yay, happy painting, right? And, you know, it's just everything is really crazy everywhere in the world. So, but, you know, we need art. I think that's part of, you know, the whole thing is like what is so beautiful about art. It's just this beautiful escape. It's something that we need. And yeah, so I hope this is a good escape for you guys for the week, because it definitely is for me. Hi, Zari. How you doing? Need to paint you. You need to set something up. Okay, I'm just kind of like lightly going around because I don't want to like mess with my underpainting too much. This eye is too late. Okay, I'm trying to go through it now. Let's see. I usually have these all perfectly divided up by size and everything, and I think I am in need of doing that. And what I'm going to do too. So what's also kind of fun about starting it like this is you can slowly, gradually add in other colors. So maybe it is time to do some ultramarine blue to make it a little bit darker. Because the Van Dyke brown that I'm using is something, it's pretty warm. So I can get something blue. That way I have a beautiful contrast of the warms and cools. It also darkens it, so I'm going to darken up her eyes because it really is the star of the show. I'm using a different program for streaming. It's called StreamYard, and so it's just a learning curve, but it should be cool. This is so fun. So yeah, for our workshop, we're going to be working on some studies for a couple weeks. This next Tuesday, and then the following Tuesday will be another study, and then we'll start applying what we love about Sargent, like whatever techniques we're liking, into a final piece. So we'll use our own reference. I can provide references, or if you have your own to use, and then we're going to do it in that style. And so the idea too is that we're going to have our pieces with this that we can use to reference, and it's going to be lots of fun. Already is. So if you're interested in joining, you still can. And if you have any questions, you can message me. My next workshop at Mesa Art Center is next weekend, next Saturday. This was such a fun one to do. I am so excited to continue this one throughout either maybe the week, or it might wait until Tuesday. The class got a lot of things going on. But yeah, I mean, I really do love being able to kind of go back and like let this thing rest, and because a lot of times we just want to like focus on something, and sometimes it's nice to have a few things that we're working on at a time. And some people say to leave it just on, like leave it there, don't don't even look at it personally. Personally, I like to make sure that I can look at it, that I can see it from like a distance. And as much as I would love a different, larger studio, there's something really nice about being able to look at your stuff from a distance, like just there, and not have to be anywhere for it. Because you can, seeing something as far away as you possibly can gives you a completely different perspective. can see your errors or things that might need to be improved on, or you can see what you love about it. That's like always lovely too. It's not always about finding errors and stuff, you know, like it's about appreciating it. And so yeah, I like to be able to like have mine in view. Just a little obsessed, but that's okay, right? All right, well, it's about almost that time. Just like the week. Push that away by quick. Usually is when it's a fun painting. Well, let's see. I think it's looking pretty okay for now. Keep it up as I'm looking. I can see where I want to make an adjustment. I'm not sure if Michael is still on. One of my students for the sergeant class, but he was saying that he can, you know, like he finds that he can see what he needs to fix, like, you know, once he does a painting and like, oh, I should have done it like this. And, you know, I was telling him how good that is, that like we want to be able to see what we can do better next time. And it's all about the growth. And if you can see, you know, you can see what you want to do better on and be able to like self-critique yourself like that as well, you know, you will advance way quicker that way. It's just a good thing. I look back at some of my paintings or drawings from, you know, whether that be a few years ago or 10, 15, 20 years ago, and I'm like, what is that? That's okay. It's like part of the growth, and, you know, you just can love that or laugh at it, whatever. But yeah, we have to start somewhere. Sargent was painting masterpieces at like 15, so whatever, but we can do our best to just be better than we were the day before. Some wise man was telling me that the other day. No one is here to take my brush away. I like to make sure that part of my underpainting is still showing. I feel like it always it's a nicer feel that way. All right. well, I hope you guys had fun. Hope you enjoyed. If you missed the beginning or any other parts of it, you can always go back. It'll be posted onto my page. And I will be back next Thursday at 7 Arizona Mountain Standard Time. Go ahead and check out my website. I have an art shop on there with all of a bunch of art supplies, some stuff for artists, some stuff for the art lovers, the ones that want to be an art collector, original pieces, frames. And then you can also check out my online classes that I have. And yeah, hope everyone has a great week, great weekend. Be inspired, stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.